Okay, thanks. Hi. Yeah, we're gonna get started. I'm your moderator for this evening's discussion. My name is Luke Henderson, and immediately I'm gonna take off my jacket and make myself comfortable here. We're gonna be here about 2 hours, and I realize we started a little bit later than we said, but I want to get right away, see whether it's all right with you to spend the full 2 hours with you. And I'll do everything I can to get you out when we said. But, okay, great. We want to get your opinions about the political scene in Atlanta. And we're going to be doing 3 things today. We're going to be participating in a group discussion. We're going to be occasionally doing some private writing on the pads. And then we're going to be looking at some video spots. So those 3 things will be basically what we'll be doing this evening. I want to tell you right at the beginning that I have nothing to sell, that this is a consumer, good. This is a consumer opinion project to help out long-term planning. And I'm a freelancer. I go all over the country talking to people about products, services, and ideas. So, that's the way the market research and qualitative research in particular works. I work for a research company that's based in Maryland, outside of Washington. And so I've been hired as an outside consultant for this project. I want you to feel free to make any negative or positive comments this evening about anything that comes up in the discussion. In other words, this is going to be a free-flowing discussion, and there are no wrong answers around this table. So everything you say in qualitative research and this kind of research is important. I mean everything. So when you open your mouth, don't feel, oops, that's wrong, or oops, I shouldn't have said that. I have that thought all the time. I shouldn't have said that. This evening, you can let go of that. You can have the thought that you thought you shouldn't have said, because it's important to me. It's what I came to hear. Now, so that we can be kind of operating on the same ground rules or set of guidelines, let me just mention something about this facility so you get a sense of where you are. All right. I see a smile from Dorothy. First, let me mention that this is there are microphones around here somewhere, and that they go back to a set of dual tape recorders which act like my secretary. That way I don't have to take any notes. You'll never see me take any notes this evening. So what will happen is that I'll use those notes to see to it that a report gets written. I'm more interested in what got said, not who said it. Mm-hmm. And even though I'll ask you to put your name on a piece of paper so I can match who said what from what position around the table, I won't use your last name in the report, or I won't use your name in the report, actually. I'll just figure out who said what when I'm writing, and that'll keep me straight. But it helps me in that way. But I'm very interested in what's being said here, not who's saying it. And for sure, your name will not be used in the report. I just want to assure you of that. I want to thank you right from the beginning for arranging your schedule to be here. You're being paid this evening for basically 3 things. You're being paid for your time, because that's very valuable, of course. You're being paid for your opinions, because that's essentially what I came for. But also, I like to add in you're being paid for your courage, because it does take some courage to come out, meet some strangers, meet this stranger, and sit around and tell me stuff. So I appreciate that. I have courage. Great. That's what I'm here for. So, so the guidelines are these. Please talk one at a time in a voice that's as loud as mine. Pretty much my voice always picks up on a tape recorder, so if you can match me, pretty much that'll work. All right. Avoid side conversations with your neighbor. The thing you say to your neighbor is the thing I came to get. That's the data that I'm here for. And I need to hear from everyone. Now, since we are a pretty cozy group here, you know, we're of a nice size, I pretty much figured I'm going to hear from everyone, but I do need to hear from everyone during the course of the evening. You don't have to speak on every subject. There may be some subject that you just don't have anything to say about. If that's the case, you let your silence be the way you respond. However, if you do have something to say, please feel free to join in and say it. Also, you don't have to address every comment to me. Helen may say something that Jesse, you just feel you need to speak to her about. Feel free to do that. Yes, if you disagree with something she says, or if you agree with something she says, you know, go ahead. I mean, I'm here to facilitate the conversation, not to be the only one you talk to. We're going to observe the no smoking rule, and the way that works is this: if you are a smoker during a session and you just must smoke, then just take yourself out to the non-smoking area, wherever that is, and one of the ladies out there will show you.
Outside the front door.
Is it outside the front door? See, you have to, I just got here, so you'll have to tell me about that. So, then do that, and then come on back as soon as you can. I want you to say what's true for you, and I want you to have the courage of your convictions. And, you know, even if you're the only one in this group that feels a certain way, please let be that position, because in qualitative research, you often represent more people than we get to talk to. So your position, or the thoughts that you have, stand for more than just one person. And so don't let the group sway you, or don't sell out for the group. Now, however, if the group is saying what you're saying, then say that. I mean, if they're on the button, if Annie is saying it the way you want to hear it, and it's what you feel is the way, then do that. Also, let me let you know that another thing about this room. This room, that is a one-way mirror, and we are being observed. There are people here that want to hear. They can't wait for my report. They want to hear what you have to say right away. So they're back there watching. So I just want to let you know that, so you don't. So make sure that everything, all the ground rules are in. So as I was saying, don't let the group, sway you, if they're a strong talker or not. You get your point made. I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves, your name and your age, if you will, how long you've lived in this area, if you work, what's your occupation, what some of your hobbies and avocations are, things that you do in your free time kind of stuff. And then your marital status, number of children, things like that. Kind of get a sense of who you are. Anybody can start.
My name is Helen Collier, and I've lived in Atlanta, Georgia all my life. My age is 55. My hobby is ceramics. And what else?
Okay, what did I ask for? If you work?
Yes, I work for Atlanta Life Insurance Company, and I'm an audit clerk.
Oh, okay. All right. And you're married?
Married, yes. Married with 3 children.
With 3
2
children?
boys and 1 girl.
All right. Thanks. Thanks for being here, too.
Sure.
Appreciate it. Okay. Juanita? Is that?
Yes.
By the way, if I spell anybody, mispronounce anybody's name, you make sure.
Sounds good.
Okay. Juanita. Okay. All right.
My name is Juanita McDonald, and I moved to Atlanta from New York in 1976, but I was born here. I have 3 children. I work part-time for American Airlines as a customer service clerk. Some of my hobbies are, I love to wallpaper. I have wallpaper. I guess all my frustrations are
Wallpaper. How many walls do you have?
Well, I like to change them pretty regularly.
Right.
Yeah, I don't like to look at one thing, for 5 years. So when I get tired of it, I like to change the scene a little. Maybe add a little color here and there. Change it. What else?
Kids?
Oh, I have 3. I have 3 children. My son is 23, and I have a daughter that's in Boston. She's in a program. She went to Japan about 2 years ago. This year she's in a program up in Boston. She'll be going to Egypt next year to stay for a month. And She studies Arabic. She's real good at it. So I'm going to get her next week. They're going to have a graduation exercise up there. So we're just going to kind of take the kids and go up there, and it's going to be a vacation.
Okay.
Okay.
Very good.
What else
Did you
we
get it
do?
all?
Yeah.
Did you get it all? Your
No,
age?
no, my age. I'm 45. I was trying to understand, Jordan.
No way. Not with me here. No way.
And I'm married. My husband is a chef, and he doesn't cook at home. No, it's not fair.
Okay. All right.
That's not the extent of it.
Thanks, Juanita. Thanks for being here. Okay. Dorothy?
I'm Dorothy McGuire. I'm married. I have 3 children. I do work outside the home. I'm a special agent with the Internal Revenue Service.
Well, some people will be very careful about what they say about their personal affairs. Dorothy, for the sake of this session, can we allow them to sort of be off limits? You won't hear if they should slip out and say that they owe the government. You won't take their name down or something. Okay, great. Okay, you hear that, guys? Tonight, if you slip, you're off. Because I don't want anybody to feel like they have to hold back, so that they won't say anything. No fear, Juanita. Okay.
I live in Atlanta all my life, I should say. I'm originally from Albany, Georgia. My family moved here when I was 6 years old. I'm 34 years old, so I guess I've been here all my life. I have 3 children also. I have 2 boys and a girl. Young children, 9, 7, 4. And my hobby is gardening. I like to work out in the yard.
What kind of gardening?
Just freelance, creative, do whatever, you know.
Flowers and
borders and
everything.
moving trees and planting things like that.
Very good.
So I enjoy that. I also like wallpaper.
What is this? Is some kind of plane going on? All right. And thanks, Dorothy, for being here. Yes. Annie?
My name is Annie Woods, and I'm married and the mother of 4 children and 4 grandchildren, and I'll be 50 the 20th of November, and I have a house full of my own creations also, ceramics, painter, so I put in everything from the hot water heater to new toilets to facing, painting, redecorating, everything, gardener, flowers. My house is the only house, when I tell somebody where I live, my house is the only house that has shrubbery on the street on my block, you know. And I've lived there 22 years, raised my 4 children there, and I'm a housewife. I've worked part-time back and forth. I'm one of the original mothers of 1965, starting of Head Start in Atlanta, and received certificate from Washington for participating in volunteer, and through the years on after 1965, gave a lot of free time to the elementary school band mother for 12 years. Now kids who graduated received a trip every summer, a picnic and trophy. Everyone that was a graduate received a trophy for graduating from the 12th grade. And 2 of my daughters attend college. Both my daughters attend college. Both of my sons graduated from high school. And Beach Hill Elementary School, everywhere my children have gone to school, everybody participated, from being football, son baseball, band. 2 or 3 of them. One of my daughters that graduated was assistant president of the newspaper and the yearbook, helped form the yearbook with her class. and let me see what else I've done. I've been a voters, watch out for the voters long time ago, solicit voters to give you a reason why you should participate, knocking door to door, and poll watcher.
A lot of advocacy.
Yes, member of the neighborhood planning unit of my neighborhood, and former gospel singer. She's singing WLP.
Laying
Yes,
it
I'm
right
doing
out. Well, thanks, Annie. Thanks for being here. It's our pleasure. Jesse?
I don't know, that's a tough
Active follow. Jesse, I was trying to catch you a break there.
You would have started off as a bluebird, you know.
I'll tell you what.
Girl Scout.
Just go real short. That way.
Okay, all right.
Just cut it to the quick, and that way we won't have to try to compete.
Well, my name is Jessie Spivey. I usually don't tell my age, but I will in this case.
Correct.
I'm 41.
Okay.
I lived on and off in Atlanta, I guess, since 1967. I'm divorced. I have a daughter that's 11. I like to play tennis on any free time that I have. Pretty much an outdoor type person. I'm a manager for Stanley Tools in Covington, Georgia, so I have quite a drive on a daily basis. And basically, that's it.
That's it. Like I said, you keep it real short. You won't have to compete. Well, you can kind of size up my occupation. I do this for a living. I go around the country. I'm 53 years old. I'm married. I don't have any kids. And I run. That's it. That's when I'm not doing this, I'm running. I'm a distance runner, just to give you a sense of it. Okay, well, let's get into this. I have a lead question to ask you. Overall, are things in Georgia moving in the right direction, or are things pretty seriously off on the wrong track in Georgia?
In what respect?
In any respect that you think it might be on track or off track.
Well, I would say, I think it's on an off track in the criminal system. Because I think if they would give those guys something to do, like a job, you know, like cleaning the streets. Give them something, not let them sit up in there and watch television. But give them something to clean the streets. And if they clean the streets and have something to do to beautify the city, that would help a whole lot to deter crime. And the next time they'll think about it. You know, don't make it just a resort for them. Let them get out, let them do something. So I think that would help the city a whole lot.
Okay. All right. Thanks. You can keep it city or statewide. I mean, you know, it's fine.
I think we made some strides in the way of education. The state of Georgia has been considered low man on the totem pole in regards to education. We have a high number of dropouts in the state. Our kids don't do well on the SATs or the other standardized tests, and I think with the implementation of the QBE requirements in recent years, that's going to help the quality basic education was implemented by Joe Frank Harris recently to upgrade the education of our children to try and target you know, the areas that we had problems in. So I think that's a good area. I think race relations are getting better in Georgia.
In what regard?
There's not as much discrimination in employment and housing, things of that nature. I think it's getting better for blacks, if I could use that term, or Afro-Americans in the state of Georgia. I think there's
Which do
have
you
some
prefer?
problems.
Which do you prefer in terms of how you call yourself?
Black. I prefer black.
You prefer black? Anybody prefer Afro-American?
I prefer Afro-American.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
It really, I mean, why get tied up in?
And no, I'm not hung with it either, but I'm still sort of in the colored line. Most people don't, because I really don't think that we fit in black. My people mixed with Indian on both sides, my family, and if you're just gonna pick out, I really don't think that we're just too mixed to be called black. You know what I mean? When you say color, that means human beings, period. And if you want to just divide up and Negroes, if you say color, that still means that means everybody. You know, that doesn't sort of lined up. There are people who are offended by the word black, but I still prefer color. That means that nobody can step and say, well, I'm not colored. Hey, everything is of color. And so that takes that. You know, if you say black, you can offend some people. If you say, Afro-American, then there are people who feel like, well, those are not my people either. And if you ask some of these new Africans that come to Atlanta, they wouldn't dare let you consider them Afro-Americans either.
Mm-hmm. So thanks. Thanks for introducing that subject.
Yes, I've met some people that are very open about it.
Yeah.
You know.
Sure. Yeah. But continuing along the line that you were.
I think we're making some progressive strides in Georgia.
Okay.
A lot of larger companies are moving to Georgia, Atlanta. People from New York are coming back to Georgia. People from all over the country are moving to Georgia. Industry, we have good weather, we have major sports teams, whatever you would like to do or experience, we've got it here in Metro Atlanta, neighboring counties.
It seems like everything is centered, you know? It's easy to get to from all directions.
Mm-hmm. I hear people shaking their heads.
One comment I wanted to make on Georgia is this. You know, I know a lot of people get stuck on Atlanta and look at the progress that Atlanta has made, but we have not gone beyond Atlanta in these other towns that
2 miles outside of the
I mean,
285.
it's a big difference. You know, and we can all sit here and think, well, Georgia's made a lot of progress. Georgia has not made the progress that they should have made.
I agree with you.
So, I mean, we can't, kind of sit in a glass room isolated from these other counties that progress has not been made. And it's not going anywhere. I mean, there's no movement for some of these cities in Georgia. So I would say, yes, Atlanta has made progress, but Atlanta is just one city in Georgia, and it cannot account for everything else that happens in the state of Georgia. So I would say that Georgia has not made progress in race relations, in jobs, economics. We have a lot to try to accomplish.
Who else feels differently or the same? Is it that?
I agree with some things that you said. Very much so, mainly because I sort of feel like that when my husband, my children, we first started struggling as a homeowner, if it had not been so in the beginning, we would be in a bad shape as of now. Atlanta with money is the greatest place in the world to be. But if somehow, if you didn't start to accomplish those little small things, mainly a place to stay, you're in bad shape in Atlanta. I would have never thought in any kind of way that I would see people on the street. I've never been threatened to be put outdoors or anything of this sort, but I can tell you, it makes me very sad. And after seeing the people at Eastern Airlines crying on television, my heart hurts because I said, my husband, I make $40,000 a year. And if they are hurting, I'm still cutting out coupons. I don't have not a kid at home at all. Good management has made my family and do well. But it's just regularly surviving. You know, when I say doing well, that means that we have survived hard times, knocks and pushes, of not having the same amount of money, we still have not lost anything. And excellent credit and all these things, and with the main people that you buy from, we've been able to gain credit from them. But still, those who do not manage their money or who don't have enough of it to manage, they are going down here in Atlanta, and they are not people who are lazy and sorry either, and they are not people without jobs. It only means that money is definitely not there for those working people.
I hear
But
it.
Not
I
enough
tend
money.
to think that right about
Thanks,
now, that, excuse me, that that's almost like a natural thing throughout the country. And it's more economic than race related, you know, at this point in time. If you have money, it's fine. If you don't have it, even those that have don't have. You don't have enough.
Yeah.
And see, the times that it's different when you made if you made $50 15 years ago, of course you thought you didn't have any money, but what you had bought a lot more than it buys today. You see, you can have 500 to rent. Everything is out of whack with the dollar. The economics.
And that is the reason
And
that you don't see progress.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you can't run a country. I mean, people are losing houses. And I think the average person really didn't realize how many people were actually losing houses until Easton, they lost houses.
Does the political
Yes.
situation here in Atlanta have anything to do with that?
I think it's,
That's from the, that's
I
a
think
national
it's, I
level.
think it's
That's at the national level?
I think
Yeah.
I would think level, I think it's all over.
That's all over the
Yeah.
country.
Yeah, that's not isolated here in Georgia, that's
but
throughout
salaries
the United States.
differ in different parts of the country, just like government jobs. I mean, you can get a nurse's job in New York, which would start you out at $23,000, but if you came here, it's still the same job. But being that it's in a certain region, the salary is lower.
I think it's because it weighs with the lower, maybe our standard is lower,
That's true, but it's not low anymore.
lower than the
What I'm saying
person
is,
like in New
the
York,
standard
you know.
has risen over the years, the
Of
cost.
course,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
But
What
it's
what
not-
about the
it's not-
political situation here in
In
Atlanta?
Atlanta, so.
Yeah, has that influenced it in any way?
Influence progress?
Yes,
or-
the progress.
Oh, I would think so. I mean,
Yeah, I know.
as a kid growing up in Atlanta, I came up with Auburn Allen as mayor, Lester Maddox as governor, and now we have Andrew Young running for governor. I mean, 20 years ago, you would never have thought that a black man would be even eligible to run for governor. You have a black mayor, you have a black city councilman, the entire city council of Atlanta is black. We have black legislators throughout the state, and that's what I'm basing my opinion on, the fact that the state is progressing, you know. That was unheard of in Georgia.
But a lot of times, you
years
know,
ago.
even though they're in situations like that, they're figureheads. I mean, nothing more than
Greedy.
Right
that.
about that.
Greedy.
Right.
And here is
I don't
something
know if I can
here's something, yes,
Yeah.
that's because you don't know back in 1952 and 53 that even teenagers that weren't old enough to be voters were trying to get their grandmother to reason with. It is important to vote just because that is your right, not because you know they're gonna do anything. It's because it is your right. And see, you don't know anything about that. And now, for once in our life here in Atlanta, we have people that's separated. That means that you can live away from your people, and they can be have-nots, as the old word that you hear is coming back up that you used to hear a lot when you was a child. A have-not. That means that I can live like a queen and king here in Atlanta, and you can live in the slums and nobody ever see you or even think of you. And that is very, very bad. In Atlanta, those that had, they live next door to the have-nots. You see what I'm saying? And that means that your circle, you may have been a little highfalutin and funny, but you couldn't go too far with that because you still had to
Tell me
to
something.
lean on your neighbor. You
Annie,
see,
what are you talking about?
I'm talking about the difference in how we got people. Now, young people, very few of them care about whether they're a voter or whether it's important enough to use your right because it is your right. This is what I'm telling her, that before she was born, the very people that helped guide these very people that we have now that she's discussing into office is because we didn't know who was going to do anything. We just participated because it was our right. And it was good to know that I am somebody, even though I'm not moving anything. But if I follow those that's willing to, let's try it out anyway. Mm-hmm. We did make progress when it means to that. Yes, life is very much different. But we have to go back to the reasons why, and then we have to go back to the fact that some of those people who helped change some of those things, their reasons has changed also. That means that their effort is self, you know.
Okay. Let me inject something here. What I'm going to ask you about somebody that I've heard about on the political scene here. I'm going to ask you about Zell Miller. You look at me as if you don't know that name.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you know?
I voted for him quite a few times.
I mentioned that name and you looked at me funny. Should I leave now?
No, say, go ahead. What about it?
Okay. Tell you what I'd like for you to do. What I'd like for you to do is I want you to write down whatever good thoughts come to mind now that I've mentioned his name. And whatever good thoughts come to mind.
No, I just don't assume very many things, you know.
Just write down, you know, I'll give you a second or two, any good thoughts that come to mind now that I've mentioned his name. You know, just words, you know, things that come to mind.
Mm-hmm.
Just put.
It's not too, I like the guy.
Well, right, just be quiet. Be
Be
quiet. Be quiet and just write down those good thoughts. By the way, would you guys put your right name up in the corner so I can keep track of it, and put the time that we started to 7 so I can keep track of what, you know, who wrote what. Now that you've done that, write down any bad thoughts that come to mind. You know, draw a line, if you will, so I can distinguish between the good thoughts and bad thoughts. Then write down any bad thoughts that come to mind. Okay. Wait a minute. Is everybody finished? Have you written down? All right, write down the bad thoughts. She's erasing. She's erasing. That's all right. Not gonna give you too hard a time there. Now tell me what those, while Helen is still writing. Okay, you got it? This is the bad stuff now? Okay. All right, now let's discuss those. Tell me some of the, say in one word, tell me some of the good things you wrote. Just, like a one word or,
Platform.
Platform? What about that?
I like the thing on the prison that he has discussed, because I always felt that needs some kind of reform. Instead of people being in prison and sitting there all day, first time offenders. I think that they should be disciplined to learn discipline. Because that's why they're there. They're not disciplined.
So you like his platform on that?
Okay. I like the lottery issue. I like that. And education.
What about the education? I see you shaking your head.
I think.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I think that we still have a lot that need to be done as far as Georgia is concerned, as far as education. With the lottery, that will bring in more money to help the education situation, whether or not the teachers need more money. So we definitely need that. If the lottery is going to improve education, then I'm all for it.
Okay,
It
Helen, I
never
hear
does,
you.
it does.
I hear you saying, Is that
No,
Well, I
because?
mean,
Yeah.
it never does. I mean, in New York, I mean, they've been had lotteries for years.
Oh.
It's just money.
But
it doesn't
I
go in
don't
that.
believe that.
Okay, now, all right, so now, did we get out all the good stuff? Did she mention all the things? Is there anything, have anybody else written down?
He
She
appears
mentioned
to be
most of what I
dedicated, most
said
of
in the
it.
first about the prison system. And the way he talks, he seems like he's gonna do something about that. He's not gonna let those guys get in there and just sit.
Sit, right? Is that what you were talking, okay.
And secondly, it seems as though if he get them and design a boot camp for them, that will give them some way of knowing what discipline is
Yes.
and following orders. And some of them might like it. You know, sometimes when you show a person you're interested in them or something, give them something to do, that helps. And secondly, I like him because he seems to be more compassionate for the people. He seems to be for you and not myself.
I hear people shaking their heads. I hear Jessie shaking her head. Dorothy, did we get out all the good stuff? Thanks,
Yeah,
thanks.
basically.
Okay, good. Let's switch to the bad. What'd you write down was bad?
Nothing.
Nothing? Okay.
You know what I wrote down?
What'd you write down?
Politician. I think all politicians are.
That's what makes them good.
All right, tell me this, whether you're gonna vote for him or not, what's the best reason to vote for him?
He's a good man.
He's
He
a good
seems
man.
dedicated.
Right.
He
And
seems like
dedicated,
dedicated.
compassionate.
Compassionate.
I think he's outgoing. I've voted for him
Right.
quite a few times, but I still have not decided who I'm gonna vote for because I have.
Okay, all right, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Eddie, we'll get to that. Don't get ahead of me there. But thanks, I appreciate
No, I don't have
that. I
any bad
appreciate
things that I
that,
think
yeah.
about him.
Good,
No,
but he's,
no.
but, okay. So what kind of person is he? You say he's a good man,
Yes.
is he, tell me more.
He's come across as being, you know, compassionate. He's for the people. He wants things to work.
Mhm.
He's out of self. He's for you.
So does he have support in the Afro-American or black
The
community?
black-
Or black American?
Yeah, he does.
I'm gonna be somewhat sensitive the way we said it, but no, does he have support in the community?
Yes.
He does.
He does?
Yes. Oh, yes.
What is that
To the
support?
point that he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that right?
Right.
Well, he's
Why does he have that support? What is it?
because he has a good platform. He's saying what he's going to do. He's talking about what he's going to do for the people, how he's going to do the system, the crime area, and how he's going to help the education.
And
Well,
black
people have said
Afro-Americans
that
like
before.
that?
Oh, yes.
People have, all politicians have said that before,
Mhm.
and they've not come across.
But you know what they
On
do?
that.
They also do on TV is that they start him out in a particular kind of setting where he's in the country and they show him as a logsman or an outdoors type person. Anybody know a farmer or know how hard they work?
Right.
Kind of see him
The soft
doing
spots.
yeah, I mean they really do. I mean they see him in a position of getting the job done.
With his
Well,
sleeves,
now
with his coat
tell
off.
me, is he
Okay.
gonna continue things the way they are now, or will he bring about the change that you guys are
Bring
talking
about
about?
a change.
He's gonna bring about
He's
change?
gonna bring about a
He's
change.
gonna bring
He's
about
gonna bring about
Hey,
change?
think about it.
Yes.
He's gonna bring about
I
change.
think so. I think that, let's look at it like this. I don't think Georgia can do any worse than what it's doing right now with Harris. Because Harris, to me, has put Georgia at a standstill. So anybody at this point, I
Gotta be
feel,
better than
would
that.
be an improvement
Right.
to Georgia.
I agree with that too. Exactly.
Harris is a big disappointment
I
to
agree
me.
with that.
You know,
Okay.
the sooner he's out of there, I think the better Georgia will be.
Yeah.
I hear
It
you.
seems like he doesn't want to hurt any feelings.
Cause I believe the less
Yeah,
matters
that's
did
the same
better
thing.
than.
That's what's
than
wrong with
you did.
Andrew now. He doesn't wanna hurt any feelings.
Okay, let me read you
So
a
he's
list of
gonna-
reasons I'm gonna give you an opportunity to talk about it. To give you a list of, to read you a list of reasons to vote for Zell Miller. Tell me whether you think each is a good reason to vote for Zell Miller, okay? He would introduce a state lottery. Is that a good reason to vote?
I think so.
I don't think
That's
so.
not a good reason for
It's
me to
not a
vote
good
for.
reason
Not a
for
good
me.
reason
No,
for you.
no.
Not for you, one
No.
either.
If anything.
How many think
if-
it's a good reason for you to
I
vote
think
for?
it's the
But see,
truth.
I don't believe in a lottery.
I object to it 100%.
Uh-huh.
I object to
If
lottery.
it's gonna help.
But
education,
if it means that if I had the choice to decide who do it, I would give it to the people who wants it. But if I was the one who had to choose for myself, I object 100%.
Okay. He would do something about the crime problem things.
Yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think so.
Is that a good reason to vote?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that's a
Okay.
good reason.
He would make the schools better.
Right.
I agree with that too.
Okay. He can work effectively with the legislator and South Georgia.
Probably so. I'm not sure
Not with
that-
Tom Murphy.
What is it about? What is it about that?
think so.
What is it?
No,
Not,
it said
hold on. Not all at once. Not all at
Well,
once.
he can't
Yeah?
do that because they've already painted that picture of him coming out of this
Mhm.
southern environment.
Right.
I think he's able to do, he can do that.
Now, who is it that said they couldn't think he could do that?
I did.
You said it. Dorothy, tell me how come he couldn't do it.
Tom Murphy runs the
He did.
state legislature.
Is that right?
He has enough political clout in there to sway a number of representatives and whatever, to get whatever he wants passed. He's done that for years. You
Mhm.
can tell
True.
Yeah.
he's
That's right.
anti-Zell Miller. They have
Uh-huh.
a
Is he?
long-standing feud between
Uh-huh.
the two of them.
Uh-huh.
That's why he didn't come out to support. Well, Murphy said a lot of things over the years.
Mhm.
Sometimes.
But
And,
he's already said since voting that he was, what is it, nay?
That's why
nobody.
he didn't endorse anybody.
Right.
He doesn't.
No, but you
people
said
don't
you
care.
would work with him on the lottery.
Okay. All right. I want to switch now to Andrew Young, and I want you to write down whatever good thoughts come to mind when you hear the name Andy Young, regardless of how you
You want a
vote.
separate sheet for that?
Y'all want a separate sheet for this? With your name. That's
Want
right.
to put Miller on this or just?
That's right. Put Miller on
Oh, you
one.
want these sheets?
Yeah.
I just.
That's okay.
Okay. All right.
Regardless of how you voted now, just tell me the good things that come to mind when you hear Andy Young. Now, write any bad thoughts that come to mind. You know, draw a line and then write any bad thoughts. Okay. All right, let's hear the good thoughts. What did you write that was good?
He's black.
That's what I did.
That's one good thing about
She
him.
wrote
right.
just everything.
He's an optimist.
He's an optimist.
Mhm.
He's black.
I say he's outgoing and he's comfortable.
He's what?
Comfortable. I think that's,
Accountable.
comfortable. That means that he
Comfortable?
fits in, comfortable.
Comfortable. Oh, I'm sorry.
Right, that
Yeah.
means that, it doesn't matter, who you are, you fit in with him. I've noticed people who don't seem to, different politicians don't seem to fit in with people of some sorts. It seems that he gets along with everybody. That
Okay.
means he's comfortable with everybody.
All right. More good stuff.
Pro-industry.
Pro-industry.
Industry to Georgia.
Uh-huh.
I got pro-choice.
Pro-choice. Okay. Anything else, Helen? Good stuff for Andy. Young. No? Nothing?
Nothing.
Okay. Juanita, did we get you?
Yeah.
We got, you pretty much agree with what's being said? Okay. All right. You said industry.
Industry.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
He's brought a lot of industry to Georgia. A lot of large companies, corporations have moved here. Georgia's going to be the host for the Super Bowl, possibly the Olympics in '96.
Mm-hmm.
He has that political, whatever it is, contacts in order to get that type of thing for Georgia, which is good because it creates a lot of new jobs.
Uh-huh.
So that's a positive issue, I believe.
Uh-huh.
he
I
has.
think that's what he does best.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Really.
I see you shaking your head, Jesse, is that it?
Mhm.
What about the pro-choice business? What is his stand on that now?
Well, you know, it's every woman's decision.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's not, and I don't think it should be a legislative decision whether you decide to keep a baby or get rid
And
of it.
Andy has come out for that, Andy Young has come out for that and said that? Okay, all right. Okay, Helen, anything before we move to the other side?
No.
Okay, let's talk about the other side, the bad side. What did you write that was bad?
I only have one objection to him. I basically like him very well, and I've worked for campaigning. Only thing that kind of hurts me dealing with him is he seemed to have lost sight of the poor. You know what I mean? Atlanta is great, and what he's done for the city is great, but it has not improved the lives of the poor, and I'm very against that.
Jesse, I see you shaking your head. Want to amplify what Andy said about it?
Yeah, I'll go in. I'll try to give my opinion on that. I've always been an Andy Young supporter, and I think in the last campaign that he ran, I did not vote for him because I thought he was the better candidate. I voted for him because he was black.
Mm-hmm.
And at that particular time, I said to myself, I'd never do that again, because I feel that Andy has gotten to a point, and it's almost like, you know, I'm for self. You know, I don't care how I got here, who put me here. I am for self at this point.
What has you thinking now?
It's the way
I
that
hear that, Helen. I'm gonna get
the way
to you.
his campaign has been ran this time. It seems like he wants to be governor, and he wants black people to vote for him, but he has not done anything to get black people to vote for him. Like I live on the southwest side of town, Cascade, and you would think that every home out there would have Andy Young's sign in the yard.
Yes,
I saw
and so
one
do I.
coming down Cascade,
Mhm.
and that's telling me that Andy has not really campaigned in the black community to get the black vote. And because he has not come into the community and said, hey, I need your vote to be governor, I don't feel that I should give him my vote.
Hear you.
Well,
Over here?
I broke down, I said he's for himself and not for the people. I
And
just
tell
broke
me
that down.
exactly what makes you feel that way.
Because he portrays that and when he lost so bad, he said, I remember distinctly, he said, I took you for granted, I didn't do my homework. He just knew we were gonna vote for him. So now he calls himself doing his homework. And like she said, I live in Adamsville, which is right up the street from Cascade.
I live 1 mile
And,
from where he lives in
when the
Cascade
people
myself.
came out in my neighborhood and wanted for signs, they said no.
But no.
Uh-huh.
Can I say something?
Let me get to Juanita, and then I'll get back to you. Go ahead, Juanita.
Okay,
You were shaking your head or doing something, and I wasn't.
I don't think that he's aggressive enough, you know, with his white patrons. That he doesn't take a stand, and you can sit on the fence with one leg over here and one over here. It's either yes or no. The maybes
Mm-hmm.
don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and it's too many maybes. So and then plus, I think he really has another something else that kind of stands in his way. People, and mostly, especially black people here in Atlanta, they always have something to compare him to, which was Maynard Jackson, and they're always looking for somebody to replace him.
Mm-hmm.
There is nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
There hasn't been since that time. They haven't had not a white or anything else that was as good as Maynard Jackson.
That's true.
And that is true,
And
definitely.
it really
True.
is.
Uh-huh.
And I think everybody's looking for that again.
Right.
And so do I.
Yeah.
Yes, and he doesn't forget you, Mr.
You know-
Jackson. You know, Anywhere.
Hey,
He's
the
He's
unspoken,
just like a
yes.
bird.
Well,
He was a
used to
neighbor
walk the
of mine for a
neighborhood,
while.
you know.
I think too, the city made more progress with
Yes,
Jackson in office than when Young
Amen.
came in, he really didn't have to do anything, cause
That's
the
right.
base was there.
Yes.
And I think that the progress that we made was not because of Young, but of the base that Jackson made when he was in office.
Right, and he put his foot in there, and this is why I was telling you that you have no idea how we got to where we are now, because you were too young during Maynard Jackson time to know political what was going on. People were fighting.
So that young.
No, not when you say you were old enough. No, but what I'm saying is,
Hey, Annie, and give Dorothy a break.
what I'm saying is, I don't
We
see
know what
young
you're saying.
children
No, we know what
asking people to
you're
participate. And when I come up,
I
it
know
was
what you're
great
saying.
to encourage people to participate. Young children now, I ask them, I find, I'm mothering everybody, you know, honey, are you getting ready to register to vote? No, ain't nobody gonna do that. I hear from young people now what I heard, 35 years ago. This is what I mean.
I understand.
Not being awkward. I mean that I see that difference.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing that I instill in my children. Hey, everybody, all of my children, do it because it is your right. You don't have but a few, and make yourself therefore. That is what I'm saying is, the last 10 years, it seems like we've stepped a couple steps backwards.
Okay, so tell me the best reasons to vote for Andy Young. Whichever way you're gonna vote. Tell me the best reasons to vote for him. No matter how you intend to vote.
Well, that means that I'd have to top both of them. I have objections to both them.
I know, I hear what you're saying, but I'm saying, if there were some best reasons to vote for Andy Young, what would they be?
Well, one of I think the most outstanding part in voting for him, I like people, like I say, that's comfortable. I like people that fit in with people that folks consider not your kind. I like people that sort. And I think there are people who can do good, who don't do good because they don't fit in. And I don't feel like you have to fit in. If you're somebody, that means that it may take a little more room for you, but then if you got agreeing people, they're willing to give you a little room to fight for your chance. And so that is why I like him.
Okay.
But I don't think he's done everybody good, but I do feel that he's done Atlanta great to help add on to what Atlanta started. I do give him that much.
Okay.
Industry.
Yeah.
Industry?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
Following
she's
what
done,
Juanita,
yeah.
following what she said?
Mhm.
Okay,
Industry.
industry?
Pro-choices and.
Pro-choice is important?
I agree with that.
I know
Do you have any good reasons?
No.
No? Okay. All right. This is the imagination time. Get your imaginations warmed up, all right? It's election day,
Oh, no.
okay? And the candidates are, you know who, Andy Young and Zell Miller. Now you get yourself down, just like Andy says, to the election polls. You've gotten yourself there, right? Because you're a good citizen and this is your one right, right, regardless, okay?
Bypass the runoff.
That's right, you're down there.
Gotta be in there.
And people are giving you lots of literature, right? There are people all outside, right? They're doing all that. And you have to wait in line, so you have to kind of contemplate a little bit. So there you're standing. And you get to the voting booth and you close the curtain. It's kind of quiet. Got that in your imagination? All right. Now you look and you see the names for governor are Zell Miller and Andy Young. Got that? You start to push the lever down by Andy Young's name and you pause. All right? Now hold that moment in your mind. You're pausing. You haven't quite pulled it down. You're frozen. What's holding you back from voting for Andy Young?
Because I got Zell Miller on my mind.
Ladies got Zell Miller.
And I want to stick my pin in that hole and it's gonna be.
Now, what's got you there? How come you didn't keep going?
Well, I did it because I had it into my head. And
Yeah,
I
now
thought,
how did you get that into your head?
because that's who I want. And I blocked the other out.
Okay, all right, Helen,
And I
I'll get
don't
back
look
to
at
you,
no
I'll get back to
lyric,
you.
too.
How come you didn't vote for him, right at that moment, that was frozen there? What was the thing that came up that says, I'm not gonna vote for him?
When he said that racism is like a pimple on your face, if it doesn't bother you, it's no problem.
That's what would stop you?
Yep. Because anyone
Tell
that
me
would
about
say,
that.
anyone would say that, you know, I'm afraid of them.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid of racism,
Uh-huh,
you know.
uh-huh.
And if he's black and racism doesn't bother him,
Uh-huh,
then I got a problem with Andy Young.
I hear you. Okay. All right, I hear other people going, is that true? Is what she's saying true for you
It
too?
would
I agree
be,
with that.
I didn't hear the
Mhm.
statement, but if I
Dorothy?
heard it, I read it, I
agree
certainly
with
would have a
that.
problem.
I kinda
Dorothy,
feel
you're
like-
right there, and you got to leave. All right, what?
I feel like Andy's got another motive to running for governor besides Georgia. I think he's using this governor's race as a stepping stone to a
Uh-huh,
higher spot in the political arena.
uh-huh.
I believe that
And
too.
something he said the other night after the voting was over, he said, I've been through this before, this is no big deal to me, I'll give you a statement in the morning. He seems to have gotten arrogant, overly confident in his position to say, well, no big deal, I know I'm gonna win, talk to me, you know, and I just hate that cockiness, I guess.
Mhm.
Is that what it is, or maybe, could you maybe comprehend, maybe at this time in his life that he could be really tired and maybe he really don't wanna win?
I
I
thought
think
that very
it could be-
seriously.
I think-
How come you wanna win?
I think Andy just think that black people gonna just automatically vote for
Uh-huh.
him. I really believe
All
that.
right.
too.
Now,
I do too.
let's get back in the booth again.
Sometimes
Let's
you get
get back in the
tired.
booth. All right, we're back in the booth, and we're about to vote. Oh, Juanita, I cut you off. Finish.
Oh, no, no.
You all right? You okay? All right, so we're back in the booth again.
That was too well, huh?
Okay, we're back in the booth. And what's making you vote for Andy Young? And you,
Vote for Andy.
yeah? Not you, Helen. Not you. What's making you vote for him? That was hard for you, I know.
What would make you vote
What
for
would make
Andy?
you vote?
Okay,
Yeah.
what would make me vote for Andy? If he turns his campaign around right now, come into the black community and try to get as many black votes as he can get and show me and let me see him in the black community
Mhm.
and let me see more signs in the black community, I'll vote for Andy Young.
Okay.
I agree with that.
You agree with that?
Second motion, yeah.
Anything that hasn't been said by Jesse that needs to be said about what would have you vote for Andy Young?
I'd like to
I
see
would probably vote
a
for
black
him because
governor.
he's black.
I'd like to see a
Which
black
is not a good
governor.
reason to put anybody in office,
Uh-huh.
okay?
Uh-huh.
That could be a detriment to
Right.
everybody, just because
Uh-huh.
someone is black, you vote for
Sure.
him.
Uh-huh.
But the fact that he is black, and because he's black, hopefully he can still identify with black issues
Uh-huh.
or
Yes.
Afro-American issues or whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
That would make me vote for him.
I got it.
But on some of his issues, he's not clear. He's not clear on the lottery, he's not clear on law enforcement. He hasn't really come out and said
Where he
exactly
stands, yeah.
where he
Okay.
stands. And
Okay. Now let me ask you, this is an important question.
Is he not?
Are you
excuse me,
ready?
Is he not a minister?
Yes.
He's not. I mean, all the things that you talking about that you want from him, his whole basis is not
Around the ministry.
around that. It's something else.
And that is
Okay.
the reason that this poor thing cuts into me very deep. You know, I don't feel like the world's in right shape as long as somebody's suffering. And I don't get much thrill out of knowing that we have so much here in Atlanta to offer, and it's very thinly shared. I don't like that.
Okay. Thanks.
You're right
Andy.
about that.
Okay, here we go. I'm gonna ask you this question. This is an important question for me. Do you find yourself wanting to vote for Zell Miller or against Andy Young?
I find myself voting for Zell Miller.
So you're not voting against Andy Young. You're voting for Zell Miller.
That's a guess.
Well, it's the same question, isn't
Uh-huh.
it?
But
Because if you,
Wait,
if
hear
you
the question
vote
again, hear the
for
question again.
Zell
Six in
Miller,
one hand,
Here-
a
here-
half dozen in the
yeah.
other.
But if you, do you find yourself wanting to vote for Zell Miller?
Yes,
Or are you voting against Andy Young?
I'm voting
That-
against Andy Young, for Zell
they need to get held up.
Helen is very clear. Helen is very clear.
You know what?
Helen, I am very clear on where you stand on it.
If I had the choice, I voted for each one. But if I had the choice and I had somebody else to add in there, I would not vote for either one of them for governor. Is because Zell Miller has had 16 years as lieutenant governor, and yes, some things he's done I agree with, but, and the reason I voted for him is because I felt that he fit in to more of my thinking than some of the other people that he had against him. But if it was a choice for who I thought was going to do the best, somebody else other than them, neither one of them would have a chance for my vote, even though I voted many times for both. But
So let me ask you a question. So your vote for Zell Miller
my vote for Zell Miller would not be
a vote against Andy?
No,
That's the
definitely
question I'm
not.
asking. See?
It only means that my feelings would be that having objections to both people, my choice would be that maybe he had the chance to get his things in hand dealing with other folks because he can't do it by himself.
Okay,
Have other people
okay.
to be
All
a
right,
more
all right,
agreeable
somebody
person.
else, somebody else.
And so that would not be against
I don't
Okay.
think
Andy
that,
Young.
I don't
Okay.
think in honesty that you would have any black person that would go to the poll and get in that room and pull Zell Miller's lever without having some kind of conscience about Andy Young.
Right.
And what would that conscience be?
That you betrayed him.
Yeah, that you should
Because
vote
he's
for.
black.
I see you guys shaking your
That you
head.
should vote for.
What's that all about? How come?
No,
How come?
because
Wait a minute. How come? How come? Except for Helen. Hello, Helen's clear. But come on, I want to hear
Because
that.
you
I already
I mean-
betrayed you.
But let's hear it. How come?
Mine wouldn't be a word as deep as betrayal. It's because I said some things I think we earn, and I feel like when we give a person a chance to earn something and they don't earn it, you can't betray them. My thing is, I would like to see our people foot in the right place, and I feel like being the governor, being a black governor and the first one would be in the right place. That is my part, but betray him, definitely not.
Okay, so thank you, Annie. Somebody else. Thanks. Appreciate that. Thanks. Go ahead.
I agree with the Juanita, what she's saying, because that's what got, Andy Young got my vote the last time because of what she just said.
Uh-huh.
And,
Is it because you're black?
yeah.
That you feel that he's black and that
Yeah.
you're
That
not
you
voting
owe
for him
him
as a
that.
black?
Yeah.
I got it.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I hear it
That's
clear.
right.
Because
Thanks.
I voted for
Yeah.
him.
Cause see, I was